All right, so we are going to look at washing brushes. This is super important to keep a nice tip on your brushes, and that will allow you to make those nice clean brush strokes that I know that you want to be able to make. So don't overlook this part of the process. I know for me, after I'm done painting, this is usually the last thing I want to do, but I really just want to stress the importance of taking your time and really doing a good job washing your brushes. Because that is going to really extend the life of your brushes and also take away like a lot of the frustration that you run into when you have brushes that are splitting. So here I am at my sink where I do my washing, and we've got some dirty brushes here that have been sitting in water. I'm going to talk a little more about this in another video, but I keep my brushes in water because I feel like if I haven't soaked them or kept them in water and that acrylic paint starts to dry, it really makes a headache and it makes it a lot harder to wash them. So we'll leave that for another video, but this is what I wanted to show you. So I actually only wash my brushes in nice hot water. I know some of you use brush cleaner. I do have this, this brush cleaner here. This is for soaking your brushes. So if you have some that are really bad, you can give this a try. But if you've really kind of like junked up the way that they form, even if you get the paint out, they still might not dry in a nice shape. But this does help a little bit if you've got some that are really bad. This is a cleaner where you add water to this and then you let them soak in here. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't really use this. I pretty much just use water and use my brushes until they're at the end of their life, and then I switch to a new set of brushes. But I'm going to just kind of bring the camera in close here so that you can see what I am doing here. All right, so like I said, my brushes have been sitting in the water. I'm gonna pour that out, and I'm gonna use nice hot water. Now, what's really important when you're washing your brushes is you wanna be gentle with the tip. So I'm always like squeezing the paint out. The worst thing that can happen to brushes is when you have a bunch of paint jammed up down here. That is really what causes them to split and not keep their shape. So we want to really guide them into the shape that we want. And spend some time doing this, like really take your time. Now I'm doing this quickly because it's for the video, but I would probably normally spend a lot more time just working that paint out. But now this is really, really important now. After you have washed all your paint out, you want to squeeze all the water out of the brush and reshape that tip so it's beautiful. If you just rinse them out and get the paint out and then you let them dry, kind of just going every which way without making this beautiful sharp tip, it's going to you're teaching your brushes how you want them to act when you're using them by squeezing them into the tip you like. So this is really, really important. Now, the other thing that's important is that you don't want to like set this, pressed up against a wall or anything that could damage that nice shape. So I always have just a drying rack next to my sink here, and I just lay it down horizontally, make sure that it's not going to be pushing on anything. So we want it to lay nice like that. This really makes a difference. Now I mostly use flat brushes, but you guys know I also have my little skinny script liner brush. So this one, I'm gonna get all of the paint out of. Now these weren't all that dirty. But then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm not just gonna leave it loose like this. I'm gonna squeeze all the water out and I'm gonna shape it to the nice, beautiful, pointy tip that I want it to have. So we really need to teach our brushes like what shape we want them to be. Just kind of do another one for good measure. working that paint out. I'm using my fingernail and I'm pushing it out from the point where it's coming out of the brush. Nice hot water is going to help to get that acrylic paint out. So once again, we want to squeeze it to make a beautiful tip. Now, if you are an oil painter, you might be familiar with the fact that oil paint, when you are cleaning your oil painting brushes, you need to use soap. Because oil paint isn't going to wash out with water. So that is an even longer, more involved process when you're cleaning oil painting brushes, because with those you will first wash them out in turpentine or turpenoid, then you will scrub them into a bar of soap, and you can actually even use hand soap to work out all of that oil paint. But you could also use some regular hand soap on your brushes as well. But I caution you that you want to be really careful when you are using soap with water-based brushes or acrylic paints. You want to make sure you get all of that soap out. Because otherwise, if there's soap residue in your brush, that's going to be kind of funky and do some weird things with the water-based acrylic paint. So that's one reason why I don't use soap. I feel like I can do a really good job just rinsing them for an extended period of time in hot water. But I don't have the absolute right way to do it. I'm just sharing with you guys what I do. I know some of you really swear by using brush cleaner or soaps, and if that works for you, wonderful. But I think just the most important tip that I want to share is reshaping the brushes to that nice, beautiful, clean, sharp, chiseled point. And then making sure you squeeze all the water out and then setting them somewhere to dry where that nice tip is not going to be damaged. Now, I did see in the group someone recently posted that they use hairspray to help reshape the tip. So they wash their brushes and I guess they spritz a little hairspray on the brush if it's a brush that is starting to split a little bit, and then they guide it into that beautiful shape using the hairspray. I think that's very clever. I have not done that myself, but it was shared that it works. I think the most important thing to remember, if you do that though, is make sure you want to wash out all that hairspray, similar to using the soap. If you've got hairspray residue in your brush, that's going to do some weird things with your paint. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you, and hopefully that will help you to just have nice, perfectly shaped brushes so you can make those nice brush strokes.